Ever look at a wildly successful product and just wonder, what's their secret? You know, why do some companies just seem to get it right every time, while others, with what look like great ideas, just fizzle out? Well, today we're going to unpack a framework that helps answer exactly that.
Right? It's the million-dollar question. And here's a hint. It's usually not about who has the flashiest features or even the lowest price. The real answer, the thing that makes all the difference, it lies a lot deeper. It's all about a company's core ability to actually get things done. It's about figuring out what you're truly made of. And that's exactly where we're headed.
So, this whole idea, this secret ingredient, it has a name. It's called strategic capability. And don't let the fancy term fool you. It's actually a really simple but powerful three-step process. First, you take a hard look at your product's features. Then, you figure out what your real competitive advantages are. And finally, you make sure you're delivering those core benefits to your customers. It's basically a roadmap that connects what you're good at on the inside to what makes you win on the outside.
Okay, so that all sounds great, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you perform this kind of analysis? Well, luckily, we don't have to guess. There's a fantastic tool for this, and it's called the 9M Assessment Tool. Seriously, think of it like a complete health checkup for your business. It's designed to show you exactly where you're strong and maybe where you need a little work. And this whole powerful checkup, it all boils down to just nine core factors. And here they are, the 9 M's of strategic capability. We've got morale, mores, market reputation, money. Wait a minute, hang on. The framework is called the 9 M's, right? But if you're counting along with me, you'll see there are 10 bullet points here. So what gives? Well, it turns out one of these is so ridiculously important to a business's success that it actually gets listed twice. We'll get to that little mystery in a bit. For now, let's start breaking these down. All right, so to make this easy, the 9 M's are broken down into 3 logical groups. And we're starting with the first, and you could argue the most important one, people and culture. This is all about the human element of your strategy. Because let's be real, if you don't have the right team, none of the other stuff even matters.
First on the list is morale. And look, this is way more than just asking, is my team happy? It's about a deep-seated confidence, a real, genuine enthusiasm for what you're all trying to build, and the discipline to see it through, even when things get tough. When morale is high, your team can power through just about anything.
Next, we have mores. Now that's not a word you hear every day, but it's absolutely critical. Mores is just a fancy way of saying your company's culture. You know, the unwritten rules, the way things really get done. Is it a place where people feel they have to stay late just for show, or is it a culture that's all about results? That's your mores right there. A great culture guides people automatically, but a bad one, it can sink the whole ship.
And wrapping up this first group on the human element is management. This is a straight-up look at your leadership team. Are they actually effective? Do they give clear direction? Do they inspire people or just manage them? The quality of your leadership is like a massive multiplier. It can either amplify or diminish everyone else's efforts. Okay, so we've covered the people. That's group 1. Now let's move on to the second group, resources and machinery. Because once you have the right people in place, you've got to look at the tools they have to work with. And that means both the physical stuff and the, well, not so physical stuff. And that brings us to something called mental muscle. This is basically the collective brain power of your entire company. It's all the knowledge, the skills, the intellectual property, the patents, the secret sauce you've developed over time. In today's economy, honestly, this is often a company's single most valuable asset. Then we get to the really tangible stuff, materials. It doesn't matter if you're building software or skyscrapers, you always have inputs. This M forces you to ask some tough questions. Are the raw components you use top-notch? Are they reliable? Are you getting them from good sources? You know what they say, garbage in, garbage out. Next up is movement. And this is all about flow. How well do things move through your organization? We're talking materials, information, and of course, your final product. This is your supply chain, your logistics, the whole shebang. A little bottleneck here can bring your entire operation to a grinding halt. And the last one in this resources group is machines. This covers everything from the heavy equipment in a factory to the software, servers, and laptops your team is using every single day. The big question here is your technology a competitive advantage that helps you move faster, or is it old and clunky and actually holding you back? All right, we've looked at our people, we've looked at our resources. Time for the third and final group, your market position. This is where we stop looking inward and start looking outward. to see how we really stack up against everyone else. This is where the rubber meets the road. And this kicks off with market reputation. Plain and simple, this is your brand. What do people, customers, competitors, everyone think of when they hear your name? Is it trust, quality, innovation, or something else? A rock-solid reputation is like a powerful shield and a magnet for new business, all at once.
Okay, now, remember that little puzzle from the beginning? We've gone through 8 distinct M's across our 3 groups. But that still leaves our mystery M, the one that's so foundational, so absolutely essential to the health of the entire system
That it gets listed not once, but twice, just to hammer home how important it is. This is the one that touches every single other M we've talked about. It's what you use to fund morale-boosting events, to hire the best managers, to buy the best machines.
And that M, of course, is money. This is the financial lifeblood of your company. It's the capital, the cash flow, the resources that fuel everything else. From building morale and hiring great management, to investing in new machines and building that market reputation. Without it, the other M's just can't function.
So, after all that, why does this audit even matter? What's the point? Well, by looking at your business through these 9 lenses, you get a brutally honest, clear-eyed view of what's really going on. It lets you pinpoint your true strengths and, just as importantly, your weaknesses. And once you know that, you can sharpen your competitive edge and deliver real, focused value to your customers.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your own business, or even a project you're working on. It doesn't matter if it's a giant corporation or a one-person startup. As you look at this list of 9 M's, which one is your single biggest opportunity? Where's the untapped potential? Because that's where your strategy should begin.